Alright, I finally beat Fire Emblem Engage. I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions on this game after completing it on Maddening difficulty, Classical mode. The first thought is you should never play Maddening difficulty, Classical mode. I imagine the best mode to play is Hard Classic mode. Now, Maddening Casual might be pretty fun, because then when your character dies, you don't have to restart the game over and over and over again. As you see, it took me 193 hours to complete this because of this maddening difficulty. They really amped up the difficulty in this game. I can't really express how hard this was. This was a legitimate challenge, and if it wasn't for the DLC, I'm not sure I could have beat it. Getting that cheeky dragon in the DLC really smoothed out my curve, but I didn't get that until like chapter 13, I think. So the first 13 chapters were brutal for me, and it kept getting harder, but some of that DLC content really helped it out. So let's take a look at this end game that we got going on here. First time loading up the end game. I don't know what's gonna happen. Now for the story of this game, it's trash. I'm giving the story a 4 out of 10, which isn't that big of a deal. Fire. Oh, that's some loot. Okay, some relay trials are now unlocked. Vicious volcano in the relay trials. Great. Given that they gave me a bunch of cash and a bunch of gems and a bunch of other stuff, I imagine there's going to be a bunch of skirmishes in the open world. So my favorite parts of this game were some of the new combat features. If we take a look at this inventory here, these items back in the day in old Fire Emblem, most of the items you would expire. You'd have 20 uses of the item, then it would break, and you'd have to use a different item. This one, they don't. You gotta level them up. So you get a S rank sword, pump it up a little bit, and then, what do they call it? Implement. It's just crazy powerful. 69 physical attack. I didn't want to level the guy up anymore because I wanted to keep it at that 69, because that's like the sweet spot. That's where you want your damage at. So these S rank weapons are absolutely brutal. Even these lower rank weapons, if you were to rank them up, like if you put a slim sword on a sword master, leveled it all the way up, and put a high avoid item on it, you're basically going to be unable to get hit, and you're just going to wreck people. You're not going to do as much damage as a more powerful sword, obviously, but the slim sword will give you more dodge and avoid. I guess maybe not that much. Maybe you just do a silver sword. But either way, the leveling up the swords and having the swords last permanently is a nice addition. Especially because the difficulty on Maddening mode is so high, and you have to hit so many times and play so strategically, where you draw people in and let them hit your tankiest characters, and your tankiest characters counterattack, you would run out of weapons almost instantly. And I was very poor. There's a lot you can do with your gold in this game. Other games you couldn't do as much with your gold. In this game, you got all your shops here that you can spend your gold on.
Welcome.
So you can buy all of this junk with your gold. And these seals are pretty expensive. You can, a couple matches, I had to buy a bunch of these temporary buffs in order to complete it, because it was just so hard. So hard. So I bought those temporary buffs. So I was out of gold for most of the game. As you can see, I got 150,000 gold. So I only had 9,000 gold at the end of the game. So you got there. You got the weapon shop where you can buy stuff. But then you also have the weapon upgrading smithy. Now the only reason I didn't spend more cash on this is because I was always low on other materials, specifically silver. See, in order to upgrade this to level 5, which gives it an extra 5 hit and 5 crit, that just turned it into a freaking god weapon. It takes 13,000 gold, which I did not have, and 35 silver, which I do not have. So going up to level 5 is a bit much. I enjoyed this. I think it's probably better for the future of the series to keep this. Weapon breaking is a controversial subject. I think it worked well in Breath of the Wild. Most people hated it. I liked it in Breath of the Wild because it forced you to use different weapons. But in this game, there's not that many different weapons to use, so having them break isn't that impactful. So there's like, I don't know, 5 to 10 swords, and that's it. So you really don't want your swords to break. Another addition to this game are these heavy weapons that smash. You only get a hit once. You can't do a follow-up. It adds a level of strategery. And yes, that's a word I invented by... I mean George Bush invented strategery. It adds a level of strategery to this game, because you can get a character with low speed, and you can put with these big old crushing swords on them, and they got the maces. I use a lot of this silver great lance right here, level 2, and this dude just smashes with it, and he's got no speed at all. Let's take a look at that character. I started him out as a general. Look at that, speed 19. Almost no speed at all, but his strength is high, his defense is high. So I put him on that silver great lance, and he just starts to wreck people. So these weapons, I think, are good for the series in the future. This storyline was absolute trash. Not good for the future. They really need to do better on the storyline. The storylines in Fire Emblem are usually not that good. They're usually just serviceable. But this was legitimately bad. So it's a bad story across the board. And all of the characters are mostly annoying. This character is 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 annoying. Annoying. Alfred is a Chad. Alfred's the man. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you one of Alfred's bonds with another dude. He's straight up sexually harassing him. He's the Harvey Weinstein of the group. He's a prince, so he goes to one of his subordinates who can't say no. Fully gropes him. He's groping this dude all over the place, and the dude is obviously uncomfortable, and he's unable to read the social cues. He is a molestor. So Alfred, pure Chad. Favorite character in the game, by far. Well, aside from Goldmary, because she's got the heavies. Chloe's got some heavies, too. Not in this outfit. She's not that annoying. But Goldmary's got the... not in that outfit, either. Just the base outfit is where the heavies come in. Basically, everyone in this game is pretty annoying. None of the characters... I didn't vibe with any of them, except for Alfred, obviously. And the heavies. I went and married these heavies. In terms of the difficulty, Maddening, I can't stress enough. It's too difficult, it's too overtuned, and a part of the reason it's too difficult and it's too overtuned is the variety of difficulty options that Fire Emblem now has. Back in the day, you had no difficulty options. You played Fire Emblem, everyone got the exact same difficulty. That's what I prefer. That's the Dark Souls method, though Fire Emblem came before Dark Souls, so anyways, that's my favorite method, because everyone who plays this game is going to play the exact same game on the exact same difficulty. Everyone's going to have a shared experience. But I played on Maddening Classic mode, meaning permadeath, hardest difficulty. This game is completely different for me than it will be for anyone who plays on a lower difficulty. It's a completely different beast. I played a different game than other people who will be playing this game unless they're playing Maddening difficulty on Classic. So I kind of don't like that. I didn't enjoy playing on Maddening as much as I would have on hard. I wasn't expecting it to be that difficult, and I didn't want to be a little bitch and lower the difficulty midway through. So I completed it. It took almost 200 hours. It was brutal. Music in the game, passable. There's a couple banger tracks, but beyond that, it's just passable music. Art style is a little too Genshin Impact for me, but it's not so bad. Obviously, I don't like the way the main character looks. I hate everything about the main character. He's a whiny little bitch the entire time. So I put him in this little gimp suit here, so I didn't have to look at his dumb face anymore, which comes with the DLC. I don't think I would have been able to do it without restarting the entire game on Maddening difficulty without the DLC. So for me, it was definitely a pay to win. I always buy the DLC because I like these games so much that I just want to give the game company as much money as possible. So I buy the DLC. I rarely even play the DLC because at the time it comes out, I'm usually already done with the game. I don't often replay these very often. I might replay this one on hard difficulty just to experience how much easier it is than Maddening difficulty. But playing Maddening difficulty, I really messed myself up because I leveled up a bunch of characters that I ended up taking out of the squad, and the experience is fixed in Maddening. You only get a fixed amount of battles, you only get a fixed amount of DLC, you only get a fixed amount of skirmishes. And once you're done with that, you can't level up anymore. There's no way to level up. So there's a fixed amount of experience, and you want to utilize that experience appropriately. You don't want to waste it on characters that you'll eventually take out of your squad. So if you're going to play this on Maddening, that's what I recommend. A lot of the battles were really, really well planned out and really well made. It had another big giant dragon as the final boss, which I kind of don't like. I kind of didn't like the health crystals that a lot of the enemies would get when you fight an enemy and you kill it. It gives you have to kill it multiple times. It wasn't so bad. It's just like, instead of upping the difficulty of the map or making the map more intricate, it's basically just giving them more hit points. And I never a big fan of giving the more hit points. But the story in Three Houses, if I gave that a rating, I'd say the story is an 8 in Three Houses, and this is like a 3, maybe even a 2. And the average Fire Emblem story is like a 5. If you were to average all the Fire Emblem stories, the stories are never that great. The GameCube story was really good. Radiant Dawn, Path of Radiance on the GameCube is really good. And then that tied into Radiant Dawn. So those two are probably two of my favorite storylines after Three Houses. Three Houses definitely got the best storyline. All three of the main characters in Three Houses are incredible. It's darker. It's more mature. I think this game is secretly a comedy. So I'm going to show you why this game is secretly a comedy. Let's go to my room and let's watch Harvey Weinstein do his thing. I got to turn up the audio so you can hear it talk. But we're going to watch Mr. Weinstein sexually harass his underlings here, and it's absolutely hysterical. I died laughing. I watched it the first time on stream, and I was dying. Low battery, come on. It's not like it took me 200 hours to complete this game. How do I rewatch? I think I do it at my bed. Go to my bed, reminisce, support, Alfred Bergeron. Oh, no, wait. I gotta go to my settings first. System settings, audio, voice volume.
Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem. I don't like the voice actor. I don't like it. Don't like it. Overall, I'd give this game, for a Fire Emblem, it's a 6.5 out of 10. If I put it into the general population of games, I'd give it a 8.5. It's a solid 8.5 game. But on the Fire Emblem spectrum, it goes pretty close to the bottom of the pool for Fire Emblems, in my opinion. Simply because the characters were so bad and the story was so bad. And maybe if I was playing it as a comedy and I can laugh at everything, it might make it better. But let's enjoy some harassment comedy here.
Nice. I've said it before,
checking
but
them
I
out.
really admire those muscles, Boucheron.
I appreciate the compliment.
He does not
Your
appreciate the
triceps are
compliment.
especially well developed. Mind if I feel them?
Anything you want, Prince Alfred.
See, he can't say no.
Yes, incredible stuff. They're practically a Fiornese national treasure. The forearm is perfectly sculpted too. Wish mine was like that.
Are you finished now?
Oh, guess I got carried away there.
Yes,
gotta
you
admit,
did.
though, these muscles of yours are something else. I can't help but wonder what the secret is to getting beauties like these.
Nothing special, really.
Oh, that's what you always say. There must be some trick to it. Unless you're telling me they're all natural. How is that possible?
That's a bit,
A bit what? Is there something special about this one?
No, Prince Alfred. It's
Which one do you
just
think
a
he's
bit
talking
ticklish.
about? What
Oh,
muscle
well,
do you think
why
he's
didn't you
touching
say
right
so?
now? He touched his cock. And since he's the prince and Bergeron is his underling, he just had to let him. He just got his cock grabbed, and that's that. I recommend playing the game. If you do, put the difficulty to hard. Like right here, difficulty settings. Change it to hard. Don't play on Maddening. Unless you really are a glutton for punishment. I'm a glutton for punishment. I didn't even really enjoy it that much. This game is way overtuned in Maddening mode. Put it to hard. Play it on classic hard, or maybe Maddening casual, so that way when your characters die, you can complete the map and it'll be susceptible. But as I was saying with the difficulty, old Fire Emblems, they were one difficulty, yet a shared experience. That's the way it should be. They need to get rid of these difficulties. It needs to go back to classic, one difficulty. Everyone plays the same game. If you can't handle it, then you don't play these games. Most people who play these games enjoy a bit of a challenge. That did change a little with Three Houses because the storyline was so good that a lot of people who typically don't like Fire Emblems got into it and very much enjoyed the story. So I can understand maybe an easy mode in that one. But these straightforward, bad storyline, good action, good tactical combat games, no one's going to be enjoying this storyline. Anyone who's enjoying this story and the characters is lying and coping because they're Fire Emblem fanboys. I'm a fanboy, but I'm objective. So I can just see this story and these characters were just awful across the board. So play it on hard, play it on classic. You'll have a good time. This is a worthy game. It is a disappointment. 6.5 for Fire Emblem, 8.5 for a general game. I'm very glad that I'm finally done with it. So that way I can play something else. And this goes into the probably not play again. If I do play again, I'll play on hard. And it'll probably be a lot more fun on hard. But this story is so obnoxious that I'm going to skip every single dialogue across the board. Some of the changes they made in this game, I hope, go into the future. Some, I hope, don't. I was saying the unlimited weapons, bring that into the future. Bad storyline, and don't play that again. I kind of don't want the extra lives on the enemies to come back. And they just need to tone down maddening difficulty just a little bit. Just a little bit. It was a bit too much. And some of these maps, you just get spammed with enemies, and they constantly spawn forever. But as they constantly spawn, I was like, oh, I could just farm these enemies that keep spawning. They stop giving you experience after you kill a certain amount of them. So you can't even really farm the enemies. No way to farm experience to ease that maddening difficulty. So if you're going to play on maddening, I do recommend you take a look at my tips for maddening. And I got a new tip that wasn't in that one. You pick this chick, Tamara, as a picket, and you put Ike on. And when you have Ike and Tamara, this Sandstorm, which is a Tamara exclusive, while making a physical attack, may calculate damage with 150% of defense instead of strength, and your trigger is on dex. So you get high dex, you get high defense with Ike. You run forward, you use this Great Ether, which gives you 5 res, 5 defense. You cannot counter, but next time you hit 2 space area around you and you heal for all that damage. So you run her up to the front, you use Great Ether, and all the enemies come and attack her, and usually you don't die. And then, when they're all done attacking, you explode, and if you trigger this Sandstorm, you're almost guaranteed to kill people. So you can get surrounded by, like, I think my best was 7 enemies, 4 around me, and then 3 range characters. And then I exploded, and I killed all of them but 1. So I took out 6 enemies on the next turn with this combo. It's my favorite combo that I've played on here. It works very well. Recommend putting Ike on Tamara. That is it for this review. Boys, check you later.